Donald Trump himself and others will spin it as a victory that he has defeated them. And I also worry about the chilling effect that it could have on others. But if you look at the language of what George Stephanopoulos said, he was really referring exactly what the judge said in the case. And I'll quote the judge to be accurate. The judge in that case said the finding that Ms. Carroll failed to prove that she was raped within the meaning of New York law does not mean that she failed to prove that Mr. Trump raped her, as many people commonly understand the word rape. Indeed, as the evidence at trial recounted below makes clear, the jury found that Mr. Trump, in fact, did exactly that.
I would just say, I mean, this feels like it has a real chilling effect. Like, I mean, shout out to the standards department. Okay, standards is always making sure that we are keeping the bar high and substantive and accurate. But what George Stephanopoulos said in that interview, I mean, it seems to hold up with what the judge said after the fact. And now his news organization and himself, George Stephanopoulos himself, is paying $1 million of his own money.
Well, Donald Trump has been announced as Time Magazine's Person of the Year, and a lot of people were surprised that Time Magazine still existed. Here's Editor-in-Chief Sam Jacobs making the announcement on NBC, and I have to say, he seemed almost embarrassed about it.
The Person of the Year, who for better or for worse had the most influence on the news in 2024, is Donald Trump.
Okay, there it is. Donald Trump, 2024 Person of the Year.
He was almost apologetic. And as you can imagine, lefties weren't happy about Trump being on the cover, but they reacted in the calm and considered way that we've come to expect from the left. And I have to tell you, they were the more rational responses. Now, if you had trouble making out what they were saying, and don't feel bad if you did, making sense of lefty screeching is difficult at the best of times, but we did manage to isolate one lady who did a pretty good job summing up lefty objections to Time's Person of the Year.
Well, Time magazine, just when you thought the media couldn't get any worse, you guys said, hold my beer. In a year where we had Taylor Swift, Kamala Harris, and Giselle Pichot, you chose the most repugnant, vile human being to ever walk the earth as your Person of the Year. At least half of America, and probably most of the world, is absolutely disgusted. I hope you go out of business.
Trump is the most repugnant, vile human being ever to walk the face of the earth. She's clearly never been to a Collingwood game. Ooh. I bet she has a coexist bumper sticker on her car. It's going to be a long 4 years. No doubt she, like so many other lefties, is busy cancelling the Time magazine subscription she doesn't have, or moving to Canada like they never do, or announcing on Twitter that they're leaving Twitter, only to remain on Twitter so they can see how many of their Twitter followers care. Just on that, Elton John announced 2 years ago that he was leaving Twitter in protest. Always wonder why people announce on Twitter that they're leaving Twitter. For Elton John, I guess sad tweets say so much. But I did a little checking this week and discovered Elton John's Twitter account is still standing, better than it ever did. The tweets he made were meant to cut Twitter down, and if Twitter was just a circus, he'd be a clown by now. I'd say sorry for those corny puns, but sorry seems to be the hardest word. Back to the issue at hand, though. Can you believe lefties seriously arguing, after what happened in the election, that Kamala Harris should have been Time magazine's Person of the Year? For what? Blowing more than $1 billion in 3 months and still losing? If that's the criteria for Person of the Year, I suppose the head of marketing at Jaguar will be pleased to know he's in with a shot come 2025. As for Taylor Swift, well, as this lefty explained, she was on the cover of Time magazine last year.
How did we go from this to this in 1 year?
I'm going to assume that was a rhetorical question, but the answer, of course, is America woke up. Not former CNN host Don Lemon, though. He's trapped in a nightmare that's going to last another 4 years.
Is this a joke? Did we get something wrong? Did someone scam us? Are we sure about this, producers? There is a convicted felon on the cover of Time magazine as the Person of the Year. Maybe we're being scammed. Did someone put out a fake tweet or something about this?
You know, it's almost like Don Lemon is angry that Trump went from convicted felon to Person of the Year, while he himself went from CNN host to posting TikTok videos from his basement. But lefties shouldn't be too upset about Time's cover story. If they bothered to read the article, they'd discover Time only named Trump their Person of the Year so they could produce a snide hit piece, treating him with disdain and contempt. Time's article when Hitler was their Person of the Year back in 1938 was actually kinder than this one. Not that I think the 8 people who read the most ignored magazine in dental clinics will care that much. Speaking of Hitler, check out how UK news organisation Metro reported Time magazine's decision to make Joe Biden and Kamala Harris their combined Person of the Year 4 years ago. They wrote, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris named Time's Person of the Year 2020. Fair enough. But compare and contrast that with how they reported last week's Trump decision. Donald Trump joins exclusive club enjoyed by Hitler, Stalin, Khrushchev and Khomeini. Tell me again there's no bias in mainstream media. On a positive note, the left do seem to have finally recognised Stalin and the Ayatollah Khomeini were bad. We'll give the final word, of course, to Donald Trump as he received the honour at the New York Stock Exchange on Friday.
Time magazine getting this honour for the second time. I think I like it better this time, actually, but we did a good job. We had a great first term, despite a lot of turmoil caused unnecessarily. But the media's tamed down a little bit. They're liking us much better now, I think. If they don't, we'll have to just take them on again, and we don't want to do that.